All right, so let's jump into a deep dive on something pretty interesting.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so imagine this.
Yeah.
We're in a busy McDonald's,
Right.
downtown Cleveland,
Okay.
late at night,
Mm-hmm.
packed with first responders,
I gotcha.
firefighters still in their, soot-stained uniforms,
Yeah.
EMTs in their blues,
Right.
police officers
Right.
grabbing a quick bite after their shifts.
Yeah, a real cross-section of everyday heroes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, into this scene walks Barron Trump,
Oh, wow.
the former first son.
Okay, interesting.
And here's what makes it even more interesting.
Okay.
No cameras,
Oh, wow.
no entourage,
Huh.
no fanfare.
Okay.
He was just another guy
Wow.
grabbing a burger.
It's interesting how this very ordinary location,
Right.
Almost mundane,
Yeah,
juxtaposed with the extraordinary work that these people do every day.
totally.
Yeah.
It's not like he's known for being, low-key.
Right, right.
So what happens next really threw everyone for a loop. Barron quietly tells the cashier he wants to pay for every single first responder's meal.
Wow.
No announcements.
No.
No look at me moment. Just
Right.
pure understated generosity.
That's almost the opposite of what we've come to expect from, well, let's just say high-profile figures.
Yeah.
Think about it. How often do we see these acts of charity turned into photo ops or social media campaigns?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's a whole culture of performative giving.
Absolutely. But this was different.
Yeah.
I mean, did Barron even think anyone would notice?
Right.
The source material makes it sound like he was trying to slip out unnoticed.
Which is so fascinating from a psychological perspective.
Yeah.
What motivates someone to act with such selfless generosity
Right.
when there's seemingly nothing to gain from it?
Yeah. Is it genuine altruism?
Right.
A sense of duty?
Maybe even a quiet rebellion against his family's reputation.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't know for sure what is going through his head,
Of course not.
but the impact on those first responders was undeniable.
Yeah, I bet.
It wasn't just about the free meal. It was about feeling seen and appreciated.
And you have to consider the context here.
Right.
These are people who deal with incredibly stressful, often traumatic situations on a daily basis.
Yeah, every day.
To have someone acknowledge their work, their sacrifice,
Yeah.
even in such a simple way,
Yeah.
it can be incredibly meaningful.
The source material describes this ripple effect through the McDonald's.
Oh, really?
The initial confusion, the
Mhm.
disbelief,
Yeah.
then this dawning sense of gratitude.
Wow.
It's really powerful.
I bet. There's this quote from one of the firefighters that really stood out to me.
Yeah.
He said, "Why would he do this? He doesn't know us."
Right. Like, it wasn't about personal connections or
Yeah.
favors. It was
Yeah.
just pure, unexpected kindness.
And that's what makes it so interesting, right? It challenges our cynicism
Right.
about human nature, especially when it comes to people in positions of power or privilege.
There's a whole body of research on the psychology of altruism.
Oh, really?
Some researchers argue that acts like this are hardwired into us. A kind of evolutionary adaptation that promotes cooperation and social bonding.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It suggests that even seemingly selfless acts
Right.
might have a basis in self-interest, at least on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
But then there's the other side of the argument,
Right.
the idea that true altruism does exist,
Mm-hmm.
that we're capable of acting out of pure empathy and compassion.
Yeah, it's kind of a chicken and egg situation.
Yeah.
Which comes first, the act or the motivation?
Right.
Either way, it definitely had a profound effect on those first responders.
Absolutely. The source material describes how some of them were initially confused,
Yeah.
even suspicious.
I can imagine that.
But then as the realization set in, there's this wave of gratitude and, dare I say, a renewed sense of faith in humanity.
Yeah, there's this great anecdote about an officer raising his glass in a toast,
Oh, really?
saying, "Here's to him, whoever he is."
Uh-huh.
It speaks to the power of the gesture itself, regardless of who was behind it.
It's almost like Barron's actions transcended his public persona,
Yeah.
even his family name.
Right.
For a moment, he wasn't the former first son, just a guy
Yeah.
who did something incredibly kind for a group of strangers.
And it wasn't just a feel-good moment in that McDonald's.
Absolutely.
This story really took off online, which makes you wonder how social media impacts our perception of these kinds of events.
That's a great point. It's fascinating to think about how this private act of generosity
Right.
became this public spectacle subject to all sorts of interpretations and debates.
Right. You had people praising Barron,
Huh.
others questioning his motives, and everything in between.
Yeah.
It's almost like the online reaction overshadowed the act itself.
Which begs the question, does the presence of an audience, even a virtual one,
Yeah.
change the nature of kindness? Does it become less about the recipient
Right.
and more about the giver's reputation or self-image?
It's a tricky issue, especially in the age of social media where everything is so performative.
I agree.
It makes you wonder if true altruism can even exist when everyone has a camera in their pocket.
It's a valid concern, and it's worth considering how this constant scrutiny might affect people's willingness
Yeah.
to act generously in the first place.
Do you think that maybe some people might hesitate to help others for fear of being misconstrued or having their actions twisted online?
It's certainly possible the fear of public backlash or ridicule can be a powerful deterrent.
Yeah.
It's a shame because it could ultimately discourage those spontaneous acts of kindness
Right.
that make the world a better place.
The source material emphasizes this idea that the first responders felt seen and appreciated by Barron's actions.
I can imagine.
That's something we could all use a little more of.
Absolutely. And I think it speaks to a deeper human need for connection and recognition.
Yeah.
In a world that often feels isolating and impersonal, those small acts of kindness
Yeah.
can be incredibly powerful.
There's this quote from one of the paramedics that I keep coming back to.
Okay.
He said, "It's easy to get jaded in this job. You see a lot, you lose a lot. But tonight, that kid showed us something we don't see enough of. Genuine kindness."
Yeah, it really gets to the heart of, why this story resonated with so many people.
Right.
It's a reminder that even in, the toughest jobs,
Mm-hmm.
even when you're surrounded by hardship,
Yeah.
those moments of human connection can make all the difference.
So like this, unexpected ray of light cutting through the darkness.
Yeah.
And, there's actually a growing body of research on the positive effects of gratitude, both for the giver and the receiver.
Oh, really? I'd love to hear more about that.
Well, studies have shown that expressing gratitude can lead to
Okay.
increased levels of happiness, improved physical health, and even stronger relationships.
Wow.
And on the receiving end, feeling appreciated can boost self-esteem, reduce stress, and foster a sense of belonging.
So in a way, Barron's act of kindness wasn't just a one-time thing.
Right. It could have had lasting positive effects on everyone involved.
Exactly. It's like tossing a pebble into a pond.
Yeah.
The ripples spread outward,
Yeah.
touching more people than you might imagine.
Right.
And it makes you think about the power we all have to create those ripples to make a positive impact on the world around us.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be a grand gesture, right?
No, not at all.
It could be something as simple as holding a door open for someone, offering a genuine compliment, or just listening attentively to a friend who's having a tough time.
Precisely. It's about those small acts of kindness,
Yeah.
those moments of human connection that remind us we're not alone in this world.
Right.
And, one of the most fascinating things about kindness is that it's contagious.
Contagious. How so?
Well, there's this concept called moral elevation,
Okay.
which suggests that witnessing acts of kindness can inspire us to be more kind ourselves.
I like that.
It's like a chain reaction of positivity spreading from person to person.
That's a beautiful thought. And, it makes you wonder if Barron's actions might have inspired others to pay it forward,
Yeah,
to, do something kind for someone else in their own lives.
it's certainly possible. And that's the thing about kindness.
Mm.
We can't always predict or measure its full impact.
Right.
But even the smallest gesture can have a ripple effect, creating a more compassionate and connected world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with something to ponder.
Right.
What small acts of kindness have impacted you?
Yeah.
Or even better, what can you do today to make someone else feel seen and valued?
It doesn't have to be anything grand or elaborate. Just a simple act of kindness can brighten someone's day and maybe even inspire them to pass it on.
Right.
Because ultimately, it's those small moments of human connection that make all the difference.
Well said. I think that's a great place to end it.
Yeah, that sounds good.